Okay, so it's time to talk about a moat, a defensive feature of our castle that we are going to draw very simply first and then make a more advanced moat. We'll start off by going to our camera view and choosing a standard view from the top and then zoom out so we can get a pretty good way of drawing around our castle. So we're going to start off with our line tool and just draw a simple wavy line around our castle. And then draw another one. Now, it is hard to make these kind of even, so it is possible to overlap and then delete some lines there pretty easily. This one we are going to turn into water with a texture such as water. And then this one we can turn into a texture like grass with some, not ground cover, but vegetation. And then we can go back and put our tile for our floor inside our castle over again. Doing this technique, drawing around the castle, causes that to get repaneled, so to speak. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and find that again. Select from the stone, just to show you again, this stone is the one I like, and then I change it to a larger set of stone and sometimes darken it up a little bit so it matches a little better. And that qualifies as a moat, something simple but effective. Let me show you another way to do that. So I'm going to undo until I get back to my basic castle again. Go to my camera, standard view top, and this time I'm going to make a square moat. So I'm going to use my rectangle tool and draw a big rectangle around. And then I'm going to use the move tool to bring it in a little tighter. So I'm going to move the edge in, select this one and move it in as well. Move in. Now, then I could draw another rectangle if I wanted to, or I can use the offset tool, select this big bottom panel, and then offset and bring it out. And that will keep it very symmetrical if you like that square look. So that would be about right for a moat. So once again, I can paint with some vegetation, just to show you that part would be green around the castle, and now this part could be water. Now I think I'm going to take it a step further and take my moat and push it down. Now that doesn't look like much the way it is now until we apply a texture that is transparent. Now it is possible to put water on there. I can show you water. You can choose any of these waters and put them on there, and it looks okay, I guess, but the more fun would be if it were transparent so we could see through the water. And maybe even take off this top one for right now and put some other textures on the inside. I think I'll do that by choosing, let's see. Okay, so it's time to talk about a moat, a defensive feature of our castle that we are going to draw very simply first and then make a more advanced moat. We'll start off by going to our camera view and choosing a standard view from the top and then zoom out so we can get a pretty good way of drawing around our castle. So we're going to start off with our line tool and just draw a simple wavy line around our castle. And then draw another one. Now, it is hard to make these kind of even, so it is possible to overlap and then delete some lines there pretty easily. This one we are going to turn into water with a texture such as water. And then this one we can turn into a texture like grass. And I'm going to use my circle tool and make a spike right there. I don't want it to be, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do this and select that, do a little push-pull up, and then use my offset tool and make another smaller one and bring that one up for my spike. And I'll show you how that works in just a second. But to make the spike, you need to get it a good length. That looks pretty good, maybe a little taller. And now I need to make a cone out of this by changing the scale of that top face. So I'm going to zoom in, and you want to hold down the control button and you'll see that it will uniform scale about the center. And you can bring it in. It usually takes me a couple of zooms to get it to really make a nice point. And it's easy to go too far. At some point you'll kind of lose it, and you pretty well have it at that point. So one of the reasons I like that, this gives it this base right here. Another thing we can do is take that outer circle on the bottom, and we can actually scale that up a little bit, and it gives it, whoops, let me hold down control, scale about the center, gives it a nice solid look to it, as if that would be holding the spike in there. So let's take a look at some textures, maybe some metal textures this time. And let me go to metal. And actually have to turn on the face style again, shaded with textures. And what we want to do is find some metallic textures to put on there. And that doesn't look too bad if we darken it up, make it look like iron. And then maybe pick another one of those, maybe this one, for that part. And again, it needs to be darkened to look the way I like it. And maybe one more kind of metal, this one right here. And not only darken that down, but maybe give it a little bit of a rusty brown look to it. You could even get a good wood look without too much trouble. If you did this, painted it on there, and then made it really brown. Let's find a brown, darken it up. You can get kind of a nice wood grain look, which might be more realistic for your castle. So that makes a pretty nice spike, but one spike by itself is not going to do too much. One of the things we can do temporarily is take that face and push it over. Give us a little more room, looks like. Ended up with more than I bargained for there. Let me undo that. Take this face and see if it'll let me push it over. No? Alright, well, we'll do it this way. I'm going to group the spike parts together so that I can make lots of copies without having to redraw that each time. So I've selected all of it, and now I've made a group, and now I'm going to try and make some copies. So it is possible to Control-C, Control-V, and then place another one. It is also possible to take that one, use the Move tool, and Control-Move. And that base on there helps find, when it's in the right spot. Let me try. Yeah, it can be easy to get it going up in the air without having enough room there, but you might try and find a technique that works good for you. I'm going to hit Move and bring it towards me. This one, I might just move and not make a copy. Try and spread these out a little bit. So it can take a little doing, but very quickly you can get a whole bunch of these in there if you have lots of room to work with. Definitely seeing me have some trouble here. think what I'll do is I'm going to take this face off, and I can draw it in later. See if I can do this a little easier. So, move and control and slide it over. Another one and another one and another one. Make a whole bunch of them. Whoops, hit the rotate somehow there, move. Now, again, select M for move, control, and pull them out. That's looking pretty dangerous in there. M and move, 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 move. So that's one way to do it. Now once you get one side of the moat done, it might be helpful to select all of those, and so I'm going to use my selection tool and shift click. Might be easier ways to do this, but I'm trying not to get the walls as well. Now I could actually group all of those together if I wanted to, and then Control C, Control V. Now I've got a whole nother set that I can put over on this side if I'm lucky. Let's see how I might get that down into the moat. How did I do? Not too shabby. The transparency of this is a little hard to see, but you get the idea here, and you can do the same for the other side. And then if you want to draw those panels in again, you just need to add a line from there to there, and it fills it in, and you can put whatever textures, if you like the transparent water, if you prefer the glass. I seem to prefer the glass. Let me take a look here. Select from the translucent, pick the glass right there, maybe even edit it and make it even less opaque, more transparent, so you can really see them in there. Not bad. So that's some ideas for making another kind of moat that looks dangerous. You can certainly imagine lots of different kinds of spikes. Just remember that you will need to redo your floor, so you might want to work on this before you add too much to the inside if that proves to be a complication.